Okay, so I want to explain about the work of sobriety. When I first got sober, and you may be having the same experience, I heard a lot from a lot of different places about you got to do the work. You got to do the work of sobriety. And I talk about that, if you follow me, about working on emotional sobriety, right? Which that sounds great. But specifically, what does that mean, right? It's very vague. And I want to clarify some of that here about what you need to do, because I didn't feel like I had anything to grasp hold of, right? There was just a lot of vague things, and I did not know how to go about them. I don't like vague. I want to be really, really specific here. So, the work of sobriety, I want to tell you, it's not self care. Self care is very nice. I'm all for a manicure and pedicure or a massage or a nap, right? But that is not the work. Self care is not the work. Those are just things you should be doing anyway, right? I want to start with talking about boundaries. Specifically, working on your boundaries is the work of sobriety. And I'll explain a little bit more of that. Make sure you are subscribing to this channel so you can see the rest of the videos as they get released. And I also have a program that you can start right now, which will be linked below, that will specifically get you started on this work of boundaries. So the reason that having boundaries is important, I discovered when I became a therapist that most of my clients were just like me. I was a chronic people pleaser. A people pleaser is somebody somewhere in our development as a young person, we got confused and created the belief that other people's feelings are more important than our own, and that we are responsible for how other people feel. That whole premise is going to get you into a lot of trouble if you believe that. If you believe that, you are not going to be happy. It's just impossible to be happy if you believe you are responsible for other people's emotional experience. And those beliefs are the engine that drive your drinking behavior. And I'll explain all of this in detail, so bear with me. I believe those things. I want to say this is for men and women, but I think that women have this in extra doses because I think women are very conditioned to be pleasing to others and accommodating and all of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of behavior and beliefs that you have to shred and get rid of. So if I am responsible for how you feel and your emotional experience, I am going to spend my life tying myself up like a pretzel, trying to figure out what it is that will be pleasing to you, right? So that means I have to try and read your mind, interpret your behavior, make some wild guesses so that I can make sure that you are pleased, that you are happy, that you had a nice time, that you were satisfied with the result, that it all went well for you. Can you see how crazy that is and how crazy making it is? I see this all the time. It is a faulty belief. It is not true. And we need to change it. And we change it by having boundaries. Now, I found having boundaries, like it was a big thing for me because I was a people pleaser. You liking me was so important. I was so invested in you liking me and you approving of me. And if I felt or got an inkling that you didn't like me or didn't approve of me, I was devastated and I would turn cartwheels trying to get you to like and approve of me again. So here's what you need to understand. The most important thing is that you like you. The most important thing is that you show up every day in a way that means that you can like yourself. And when I understood that, it kind of hit me here, because I realized that I was really out of alignment with my values and with integrity. Because when you're a people pleaser, I would say things I didn't mean. I would make promises I didn't want to keep. I would agree with things I didn't agree with. The result of that meant I didn't like myself very much. And that is a very, very painful and uncomfortable experience. And when we don't like ourselves very much and we feel very uncomfortable and in emotional pain, guess what we do? We look for some kind of anesthetic. And we have the cheapest, most accessible, best anesthetic there is, and that's alcohol. So this behavior has to change if you want to stay sober. Now, the great news is not only this behavior change will keep you sober, it will change your life in all kinds of ways. I used to be the kind of person who, I used to work in this big open plan office in Cambridge in England. And I would walk in on a Monday morning and there would be, there'd be maybe 30, 40 people in this office at various times. And maybe the receptionist, Sue, would be there. And I'd walk in and I'd go, "Oh, hi, Sue, how was your weekend?" And if Sue was on the computer in a bad mood going, "Yeah, it was fine," my next thought would be, "Oh, how have I upset Sue? What have I done? Oh my God, was it the email I sent last week? Oh my God, why is she unhappy with me?" And I would spend all day worrying that Sue, the receptionist, didn't like me, that I had done something and I just needed to figure out what that thing was so I could make it better so Sue would like me again. That is exhausting. That is exhausting. And you come home at night and you're just you don't feel bad because somebody doesn't like you or you think someone doesn't like you. And well, that's why a glass of wine sounds like a really good idea. After doing this work, I became the kind of person who would walk into the office on a Monday morning and I'd say, "Oh, hi, Sue, how's your weekend?" And if Sue was like, "Yeah, fine, thanks," I would just think to myself, "Oh, I wonder what's up with Sue." And then I'd go about my day. That sounds like a really small thing. It is massive and it is life-changing. Doing other people's thinking for them, trying to project what you're doing is we're projecting onto them you don't know what anyone thinks. Nobody knows what anyone else thinks. What you're doing is projecting onto someone your own beliefs about yourself. That's what you're doing. Now, please understand, it doesn't mean that you become like an arsehole and you it doesn't mean that you walk in on a Monday morning and go, "F you, Sue." It's not that at all. It's that we stay on our side of the street. All I can do is show up every day and be the best Veronica I can be. And that depends on a lot of things. Depends on how much sleep I've had, how much stress I've got going on, how busy I am. That's all I can do. And, every so often, like everyone, we're going to mess up or maybe inadvertently cause a mess or make a mistake. And then all we can do is just do our best to clean that up and say we're sorry. That's it. That's all we can do. So it starts with having boundaries. Boundaries keep the good in and the bad out. Boundaries keep me safe and keep you safe. They manage my energy and my time, and they keep me honest. I can't stress this enough. If you practice having boundaries, your life will change to the point that it's unrecognizable. Because when we have boundaries, our yes means yes and our no means no. When I didn't have boundaries, when I was a people pleaser, I was always going yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no problem. I'll help out on Saturday. But inside, I'd be thinking, oh my God, I don't want to do this on Saturday. I can't believe they asked me, all of that kind of stuff, right? And then I would end up on Friday night kind of sending a text message going, "Oh, I think I've got food poisoning or something. So I'm a bit, I don't think I can make it on Saturday." It's always lying or weaseling my way out of things that I'd say yes to because I didn't want to disappoint anyone, because I believed I was responsible for their emotional experience and I didn't want them to be unhappy. So I was always getting myself in tangles. Is this clear? Is this kind of making sense? Now, have a think about the tangles that you get yourself into. Have a think about when you needed to say, thank you for asking, but I won't be able to do that on Saturday. Few things about having boundaries. And by the way, I do talk about this in my book, and it's also in the course below. If you get the course below, there's a whole worksheet and video that talks you through how to have boundaries with people. I strongly suggest that you get it. And then you have to practice. So you have to practice. It doesn't happen overnight. It took several months for me to begin to have boundaries with people. Now, at first, this is going to be really uncomfortable. Really, 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 really uncomfortable. It was so uncomfortable. I felt like I wanted to burst into flames because I was very conditioned to rescuing people from their disappointment or feeling bad. I'd just rescue them from that feeling. So it felt really uncomfortable, and you're going to get what I call afterburn, which is you're going to practice having boundaries, and you're going to say no, thank you, I won't be able to do that on Saturday, and the person will go, oh, okay, fine, and they'll walk away, and you'll go, oh my God, am I a terrible person? I'm a terrible person. They must hate me. Stick to your boundary. We are only, all we can do is the best we can present. We're not going to be rude to people. We don't need to. The only time you ever have a part in upsetting someone is if you're rude or aggressive or angry or nasty or mean, right? Then you have a part in causing hurt feelings. But if you just politely say, I'm sorry, I won't be able to help you on Saturday, and the person is upset about that, that is their business and their responsibility. And that's the bit that you've got to grasp hold of. So if you've recognized yourself in this is the work. This is emotional sobriety. Being emotionally sober means that you are not a people pleaser. It means that because you are in alignment with your own values. It means that you can be trusted that your yes means yes and your no means no. That you are not causing tangles because you're trying to do everyone's thinking for them and take care of other people's feelings, which is exhausting. This is one of the biggest foundations of emotional sobriety. So work on this. Start here and work on this. Get the program below. It will help you enormously in creating this change. And it just takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of practice, a little bit of time. That's the work of emotional sobriety. Let me know if this was helpful.